Our lead story tonight is about recession. It was all the rage last year. Many economists were certain that the world would witness a downturn in 2024. And now it's unfolding as we speak. Thankfully, no doomsday scenarios yet. This recession wave is picking its targets. Today, two countries slipped into a recession, Japan and the United Kingdom. Both are major economies and both are shrinking. Japan's economy contracted by 0.4%. The United Kingdom, 0.3%. This is for the last 3 months of 2023. Now, these economies have been steadily declining. From July to September, Japan dipped by 3.3%. And the United Kingdom, 0.1%. That was the dip. Now, technically, a recession kicks in when an economy contracts for 2 straight quarters. So, if it sees a dip for 6 months straight, it's recession. So, going by today's numbers, it is official. There is a recession in the UK and Japan. The UK's decline is on expected lines. Major sectors like manufacturing and construction are not firing. The cost of living remains high, and the pound continues to steadily weaken against the dollar and the euro. For the entire year, the United Kingdom grew by just 0.1%, which is hardly any growth. The UK is reporting its weakest numbers since the 2009 financial crisis. And these numbers are certain to embarrass Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. When he took office, one of his big promises was to grow the British economy. But Sunak and his team have ended up tanking it, although the UK's finance minister does not see it that way.
We always expected growth to be weaker while we prioritise tackling inflation. That means higher interest rates. And that's the right thing to do. But the underlying picture here is an economy that is more resilient than most people predicted.
Do the people of the UK agree? They're paying more for electricity and gas. They're paying a higher interest on their loans. They may not buy this logic then. In less than 3 weeks, Jeremy Hunt will reveal his next budget. With the UK in recession, he has his task cut out. Which brings us to Japan. Also in recession, but it's a totally different story. Today's numbers come as a surprise to many observers. Japan was not expected to slide into a recession. It was the third largest economy in the world. Today, it has lost that title to Germany. The German economy is worth $4.4 trillion. Japan is now down to $4.2 trillion.
I think the fact that Japan fell to 4th place for global economy size is a more serious matter than people originally expected. The reason for the slide is foreign exchange rate. In 2023, the average of the dollar-yen rate was 140.5 Japanese yen against 1 US dollar. This indicates a historical weak yen, which makes the value of the yen weaker and a big reason why Germany overtook Japan.
And what is dragging down Japan? Domestic demand is weak, so is consumer spending, which means people are not willing to part with their money, which is not surprising. Inflation in Japan is at a 4-decade high. So when the basics cost more, most people start budgeting their expenses. They spend less. What is worrying is the decline in business activity. Japanese businesses are spending less. And that's a matter of concern because when businesses tighten their belts, workers usually get poor increments. There could even be job cuts. And such a situation creates a cycle. When workers get paid less, they hold back their spending. This can slow down the entire economy. And if this trend continues, Japan's economy could remain in the slow lane for quite some time. Now the question is, will more countries follow suit? Will more economies fall into a recession? Honestly, it's too early to say. Some experts claim this recession wave won't be like the previous ones. It won't stick around for a long time. The recovery could be quick. But the optimists got another setback today from the European Union. The EU has released new projections. The Eurozone has cut its growth forecast. The earlier projection was for 1.2% growth. The new number is 0.8%, which is not a recession, but growth will be less than 1%. So the negative sentiment is spreading. Whenever major economies dip into a recession, it sends ripples across the world. Other countries begin to worry. It's a bit like watching a stack of dominoes fall, with everyone hoping it doesn't reach their side of the table.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.